Welcome to the Learning Zone with Miss Beachley, Miss Hall, and Miss Bates.
Okay guys, happy Thursday. So today we are going to be using vocabulary words in context because it's Thursday Vocabulary Day. So remember, when we're using vocabulary words, we're looking at that standard, which is identifying real life connections between words and their use. And then also that we can determine the meaning of words and phrases relevant to second grade. So that's why we learn vocabulary. We learn vocabulary so we can learn words or phrases that are relevant to our education and our use in school. So today we're going to be working on our phonics practice, and then you're going to make sure that you're watching this instructional video. You're going to complete that third read of Once Upon a Baby Brother, do a respond to reading question, work on your vocabulary practice on your work on your vocabulary practice in your term practice workbook, and then you're going to complete 15 minutes of iReady reading. So we're going to go into that third read this morning of Once Upon a Baby Brother. And remember, when we're in that third read using our closed reading steps, we're reading to make use of the knowledge that we've been learning and combine it with what we already know. We want to keep marking up the text if there's anything we still don't understand, and we want to complete any text-dependent questions and then respond to writing prompts. That's a big part of this, is you want to make sure that you can respond to a writing prompt and synthesize the information that's been given to you in the story. So today I'm going to be teaching you a strategy that you can use when reading to uncover new vocabulary and help you understand words that you might not understand. So sometimes when you're reading, you can come across an unfamiliar word. And when you come across that word that you're not sure what it means, you can insert a word that sounds the same or similar and see if it still works in that larger context of the sentence. So after you've done that, you want to make sure you can read on and that it still makes sense. So we call this strategy inserting a synonym. And a synonym is a word that means or sounds familiar. So when I was reading Once Upon a Baby Brother, I came across this passage. The next day, while Lizzie was at school, Marvin found a tube of golden glitter glue in Lizzie's desk. He made golden glitter swirls all over her favorite stuffed bear. Lizzie was not amused. So I've come across this word amused, and I'm not quite sure what it means. It's unfamiliar to me. So I'm going to use this method of think, try, and say to figure out what the word is actually trying to mean. So when I'm thinking, I want to think about, where have I heard this word before, and are there any other words that might help what this word means? So if I think about it, it says that Lizzie was not amused because her brother had drawn all over her favorite stuffed bear. Well, I'm thinking about the word amused, and I'm thinking about when I've heard it before, and sometimes I've heard people talk about amused when something's really funny. So I could write the word funny. I've also heard the word amused before when talking about people who are happy. And then I've also heard the word amused. Sometimes, I talk about amused if I'm being entertained. So now I want to try these words in the sentence and see if it still makes sense in the context of the story. So remember, the context of the story, and we can look at the picture, is Lizzie has just discovered that her brother has drawn all over her favorite stuffed bear with glitter glue. So Lizzie was not funny. Well, I don't think that quite makes the most sense, because this wasn't a situation where she was trying to entertain him or trying to make him laugh. And normally when I think about somebody being funny, they're trying to amuse me. So that's probably not the right meaning. Well, Lizzie was not happy. Well, she definitely wasn't happy that he did this. So I think I'm going to keep this one for now. Lizzie was not entertained. Well, now I want to think back to the context. I don't think that Marvin drew on the bear to entertain Lizzie or to make her laugh. I think he did it because she did it because he wanted something to do and he's just a baby who gets into a lot of trouble. So I'm not going to keep entertained. So now that I've tried these new words, I'm going to say the word in the context of the story. So I'm going to go back, and instead of saying amused, I'm going to say happy and see if it still makes sense. The next day, while Lizzie was at school, Marvin found a tube of golden glitter glue in Lizzie's desk drawer. He made golden glitter swirls all over her favorite stuffed bear, Sebastian. Lizzie was not happy. And I'm still thinking, does this make sense in the big context of the story? And I can use the picture clues and I can use the other events in the story. And we know that Lizzie was really frustrated because because she felt like her brother just kept getting in the way. So if I'm thinking about the word amused and what it might mean in the context of this story, I think it most closely means the synonym happy. So Lizzie was not happy, so a synonym for amused is happy. So this is a strategy I can use to help me understand what words mean in the context of the story when I'm unsure. You can use this strategy when you're completing your third read of Once Upon a Baby Brother. The next steps for today's lessons are, now that I've shown you this strategy, you're going to go ahead, work on that vocabulary page on page 211, complete your third read of Once Upon a Baby Brother, do a respond to reading question of your choice, and then you should also, if you're following along with me, work on Your Turn Practice Book, page 219. Don't forget that you should be doing 15 minutes of iReady reading a day, and that you should be working on ABC Mouse or Wonders or other websites that are available to you for any extra practice you might need. Have a good one, Furman families.